Dr. J.V. Satyanarayana, Technology Director, Embedded AI Systems, RCI, Secretary ISSC, Local Organizing Committee, and Convener SASAT-2023. Adhering a sapling to the very exemplary Dr. V. Narayanan. Plant sapling to the navigation specialist Dr. Narayanamurthy. A sapling to the highly proficient Dr. Senior Professor D. Ravindra. Sapling to the very dynamic Senior Professor Sri Ram Venkatesh. To the very enterprising Dr. Jayan. To the very versatile Dr. Manika Vasagam. To the highly flamboyant Dr. Satyanarayana. Ladies and gentlemen, let's mark the beginning of this conference by paying tribute to our nation. I request all of you to rise for the national anthem, please.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you. I now request the dignitaries on the dais to light the conference lamp, please.
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः 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 शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः.
Lighting the lamp is a symbolic gesture to chase away the darkness of ignorance and to fill the surroundings with the promise of a better and a brighter tomorrow. And I thank our dignitaries for starting this conference in a symbolic way. Now, Ms. Niharika and Shirisha will render invocation, and I request all of you to kindly rise for the invocation.
शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु विद्या प्रदायका शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु विद्या प्रदायका शरणु पार्वती तनय मूर्ति शरणु मूषिक वाहना शरणु पार्वती तनय मूर्ति शरणु मूषिक वाहना शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु विद्या प्रदायका शरणु सिद्धि विनायका कुक्षिमहलम्बोदरने इक्षुचापनगिरिदने कुक्षिमहलम्बोदरने इक्षुचापनगिरिदने पक्षिवाहन सिरिपुरन्दर विठलन निजदासने पक्षिवाहन सिरिपुरन्दर विठलन निजदासने शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु विद्या प्रदायका शरणु पार्वती तनय मूर्ति शरणु मूषिक वाहना शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु सिद्धि विनायका. Thank you.
Thank you, girls, for that melodious invocation. I now invite Dr. Manika Vasagam, Director SPIC DRDO, President ISSC Hyderabad Chapter, and Convener National Advisory Committee, SASAT-2023, for the welcome address, please.
Very good morning to you all. Dignitaries on the dais, members of ISSE, faculty members, students from OU, fellow scientists, young researchers, members from the press, media, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to you all. It's a matter of pleasure for me to announce that the IISc Hyderabad chapter has been given the responsibility of organizing the 5th annual national conference of ISSE. And the theme of the conference is the system approach for self-reliance in advanced technologies. And as a chairman of the organizing committee, on behalf of the IISc Hyderabad chapter, I welcome Dr. G. Satish Reddy, scientific advisor to Raksha Mantri, for his presence for this configuration as a chief guest. Sir, you have been as a source of inspiration for all of us, and your presence makes a lot of difference for us, sir. And it motivates all the youngsters to hear, sir. And I extend my warm welcome to Dr. Samir V. Kamath, Secretary DDR&D and Chairman DRDO. And sir, you have been guiding us throughout this conference organization, and we are fortunate to have you as a guest of honor, sir. I extend warm welcome to Sri Somnath sir, the Secretary Department of Space and Chairman ISRO. Sir, I am happy to have you here as a guest of honor, and which inspires all the young minds here, sir. And I welcome Dr. B.N. Suresh as a keynote speaker, and he is going to deliver the keynote address which will ignite all the young minds here. And I welcome Dr. Narayana, National President for ISSE, and his team here. And they have been source of inspiration for this conducting of this conference. And I welcome you, sir. And I extend the warm welcome to the National Governing Committee members for the ISSE. I congratulate all the awardees of this ISSE. And I welcome Professor Lakshmi Narayana and Professor Sriram Venkatesh for their wholehearted support in arranging this conference at this venue. And it would not have been possible without the Osmania University support, and particularly the University College of Engineering. I welcome you, both of you, sir. And I welcome our leader, Dr. BHVS Narayana Murthy, and who has been the guiding source from the beginning. And I welcome you, sir. And you have been with us throughout till yesterday night, and it gives a lot of interest and motivation to all of us, sir. And I extend a warm welcome to all the faculty members and researchers, students, and for this national conference. And this national conference is a unique one, which is not pertaining to any specific field. It's a system engineering approach. It has been going on for last 4 program directors, project directors, group directors, technology directors from both departments of DRDO and ISRO. And I welcome all the members of press and media. And I wish this conference the success, which will give a platform for all youngsters to interact with the academia as well as industry people. Once again, I welcome all of you for this conference, and have a nice day at Hyderabad next 2 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Senior Professor Lakshmi Narayana, Registrar, Osmania University, to address the gathering, please.
Namaskaram to all of you. Respected Chief Guest of today's function, Dr. G. Satish Reddy Garu, Scientist Advisor to Raksha Mantralaya, Government of India. Guest of Honors, Dr. Samir V. Kamath, Chairman DRDO and Secretary DDR&D, and Sri S. Somnath Garu, Chairman ISRO and Secretary Department of Space, Dr. V. Narayana and Director LPSC, ISRO and National President ISSE, Dr. BHVS Narayana Murthy, DG MSS, DRDO and National Vice President ISSE, Dr. B.N. Suresh, Chancellor IIST, Thiruvananthapuram, Dr. M. Manika Varsagam, Director, SPIC, DRDO, and President, ISCC, Hyderabad. Local Chapter, Dr. J.V. Satyanarayana, Secretary, ISSC, Hyderabad. Local Chapter, and Professor Sriram Venkatesh, Principal, University College of Engineering, and Vice President, ISSC, Hyderabad Chapter. Plenary speakers, invited speakers, faculty members of University College of Engineering, Usman City, delegates, and governing board members of ISSC and members of ISSC, students, present media, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, namaskar to everyone. At the outset, on behalf of the Usman University, I heartily welcome you to this prestigious 5th ISSC National Annual Conference on System Approach for Self-Reliance in Advanced Technologies, organized by the ISSC Hyderabad chapter in association with the DRDO, ISRO, and the University College of Engineering, Usman City. I thank the ISSC Hyderabad local chapter for choosing the University College of Engineering, Usman University, as the venue for conducting the conference. The Usman City established in 1917. Throughout its excellent existence over the 100 years, it has shown remarkable progress and sustained and integrated development of all the faculties. It has significantly contributed to the academic, economic development of not only the region but also the country. Its alumni have distinguished themselves nationally and internationally in various spheres of life and are spread far and wide around the world. The university has nearly 12 faculties and 53 departments, and the university is recognized as a university with potential for excellence and accredited by the INAC with A+ grade. It is also granted funding from the MHRD under the SASAT-2023. And recently the university, under the guidance of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor D. Ravinder Garu, is moving forward under the 21-point agenda with the main focus on teaching and learning and research and innovations and outsourcing and infrastructure. So improving research and collaboration with the prestigious R&D organizations, industries, alumni under this agenda. So various MOUs with the prominent organizations are made, especially with the ISRO and DRDO and other defense labs and central government organizations. And the Department of EC, University College of Engineering, has a MOU with the Space Application Center with the ISRO on NAVIC receiver field travels and the data collection. So this is more useful for our students, especially for the research scholars and the postgrad students. So they are doing a lot of research on that. So the MOU is providing the NAC NAVIC receiving as well as encouraging our students and scholars. And here we also have a collaboration with the different units of the DRDO. Several DRDO research projects are carried out at our university. We request the Chairman ISRO and the Chairman of DRDO kindly to do the needful for the establishment of the new Space Technology Center at OU, and also space and defense-based technology training and the startup centers in the Usman City, if possible. Please, I'm requesting you, sir. Please consider our request and help for our students. So in this context, this type of conferences will definitely help in reaching that goal. I request the DRDO and ISRO under the guidance of ISRO to give opportunity for our faculty and students in starting joint collaborative projects in the Usman City. So establish one chair professor possible in each department at the University College of Engineering, Usman City, which is having 6 departments. I hope the deliberations of this conference will yield fruitful results for the benefit of the society. Wish you a happy stay during the conference in the university. I once again express my thanks especially to the ISSE National Chapter and Hyderabad Chapter for selecting the University College of Engineering, Usman University for conducting this conference. I assure you that the university administration will definitely look forward to conducting many more such conferences and workshops in future. And we also propose to the start ISSE student chapter in Usman University. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to address this elite gathering. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Students undoubtedly are the future of our nation, and Usmania University leaves no stone unturned to produce meritorious students year after year. On that note, a very huge round of applause for the registrar and the principal of the Usmania University. I now invite Senior Professor Sriram Venkatesh, Principal, University College of Engineering, Usmania University, to address the gathering, please.
Good morning to one and all. Chief guest of today's function, National Conference organized by ISSC, Dr. G. Satish Reddy Garu, Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri, Government of India. Guest of honors, Sri S. Somnath Garu, Chairman, ISRO and Secretary, Department of Space. Dr. Samir V. Kamath, Chairman, DRDO, Secretary, Department of Defense and R&D. Today's keynote speaker, Dr. B.N. Suresh, Chancellor, IISCT, Thiruvananthapuram, and National President of IISSC and Director, LPSC, ISRO, Dr. V. Narayanan, DGMSS, DRDO, and National Vice President of ISSC, Dr. BHVS Narayanamurthy Garu, Director SPIC, DRDO, and DRDO President of ISSC, Hyderabad Chapter, Dr. Manika Vasangan, respected Registrar, Senior Professor P. Lakshmana Garu, Secretary, ISSC, Hyderabad Chapter, and a galaxy of scientists, academicians, and dear students, media friends, once again, good morning to all of you. We feel it honored to host this fifth national conference organized by ISSC at our place. So when Dr. Shivaram Krishna was attending the executive body meeting ISSC, so he called me from the executive meeting that can we host this event at our place. So immediately I said, let us proceed, we will host it. So only the venue is Tagore Auditorium because of the huge gathering, but tomorrow onwards we are going to have sessions in University College of Engineering. So on this occasion, I thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor D. Ravinder Garu, respected Registrar, Sri Senior Professor Lakshmana Garu, and OSU Vice Chancellor, who have extended relentless support from the beginning. And unfortunately, the Vice Chancellor has to go to All India Vice Chancellor Conference. His mind is here only, but only body is present in the conference. So always is in touch with me, what are the arrangements are going on, what are the security arrangement and all. So on this occasion, I thank ISSC for giving an opportunity to conduct this great event, that too in collaboration with the DRDO and ISRO at our University College of Engineering, Usmania University. And I was known that this is the first time they are conducting Telangana state, that too the Hyderabad chapter is conducting first time in Hyderabad location, and is also one of the distinction that we are conducting ISSC fifth national conference first time in the Hyderabad region. And I thankful to the ISSC executive body and national body of Hyderabad chapter and national body for giving us opportunity to host this at our institution. So we have, sir, MOU with ISRO, DRDO earlier, and recently our Professor Ravin Kumar, coordinating officer from EC department, he has entered into MOU with ISRO, IRNSS for 5 years. So they have established a research laboratory at EC department. That is actually all the equipment was in EC department, left with the department for the benefit of the students and faculty and for the research purpose. So similar cooperation we are receiving from DRDO time to time. particularly Dr. G. Satish Reddy Garu, time to time he is visiting. I think this is the third or fourth time he is going to give speech on this podium. We were invited him as a chief guest for the convocation conducted by the Usmania University. So I request this is the first time the galaxy of scientists are assembling in our assembly hall, and on the stage we have luminaries and visionaries of the country, and we feel proud that all ISRO, DRDO and ISSN people are graced the dais, and on this occasion I request the dignitaries on the dais and the visionaries on the dais to give support to the university in terms of institution of a chair, a DRDO chair or the ISRO chair, and also establish the Center of Excellences in various departments of our engineering college. Because as you know, the universities are capital development center. So we develop a lot of human capital development. So a lot of students are trained here and they are deprived of reaching the knowledge of latest technologies. So in this occasion, Coal India Limited recently sanctioned one chair professor to mining engineering department. They have sanctioned 3 crore rupees. Out of interest earned on that, we are going to appoint one chair professor. Similar support we request from the Indian top R&D agencies, ISSO, ISRO, and also the DRDO. And in terms of otherwise the establishing Center of Excellences in the department or chair professor. And also one more request for the Dr. V. Shavir Kamath and also Dr. Satish Reddy Garu to install a 1:1 model, the satellite or the missile in front of our college to depict the Indian development and also for the benefit of the society and in particular to the students and faculty of our University College of Engineering. So our universities are categorized as category 1 in the country by UGC and also graded A+ grade by INAC. So University College of Engineering also having 7 departments, including latest department like mining, and newly programs like artificial intelligence, machine learning also we have started in the computer science and engineering department. All the programs have been accredited by NBA and approved by AICTE, and we are also recently got ISO certification to all the courses, including hostel messes and university guest house. So we are serving the society, first generation society, particularly the rural students coming to our institution, and they are on the top. So in the MSET, so out of 2 lakh students appeared, only few hundred students are admitting through MSET to our institution. So our students are very bright students. So with your support, definitely we will have a collaboration, research collaboration, and also knowledge share with our students and faculty members with the ISRO and DRDO. So with these remarks, I thanks once again for the organizers, particularly the ISSC, and for giving opportunity to Usmania University to conduct at our place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, Dr. B.H.V.S. Narayan Murthy, Director General Missiles and Strategic Systems from DRDO and National Vice President ISSC will brief us about the conference.
Good morning to all of you. Dr. G. Satish Reddy, SA2RM. Dr. Samir V. Kamath, Chairman DRDO and Secretary DDR&D. Shri Somnath, Secretary Department of Space and Chairman ISRO. Dr. B.N. Suresh, Chancellor IIST Thiruvananthapuram. Dr. V. Narayanan, Director LPSC. Shri Professor Lakshmi Narayana, Registrar, Usmania University. Professor Sriram Venkatesh, Principal Engineering College. Dr. Manik Vasagam, Director SPIC, and also the President of this Hyderabad chapter. Sri Jayant, Dr. J.V. Satyanarayana, distinguished guests and invitees, directors of DRDO, ISRO, and ADA, distinguished speakers which are invited for this conference, Professor Agnayana, Professor Vidyasagar, and other distinguished speakers, the industry partners, sponsors, all the award winners, the delegates, and all the students, faculty of my university, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. My warm greetings to all of you on the occasion of this inaugural session of this national conference on systems approach in self-reliance in advanced technologies, SASAT-2023, being jointly organized by ISSC, DRDO, and Usmania University. In 2019, when we were the INAC 5, the ISSC National Conference, has been organized in Ahmedabad. At that time, the responsibility of next conference to be organized was entrusted on Hyderabad chapter and DRDO to host in Hyderabad in 2020. Unfortunately, the COVID has delayed this, and I think we lost 2 years in this, and the new Hyderabad chapter association also has to be, because the previous governing body term was over, so we had to elect a new governing body, and the new governing body took place sometime in the end of 2021 or early 22, under the chairmanship of Dr. Manikvasigam and all the office bearers. Then we took that, I think we should organize, because there were a lot of deliberations whether should we do in online or hybrid and other things, but I think now I am very happy that this conference is being organized in physical mode. I think this is one of the good beginning after the pandemic is over, and we thought at least by 2022 end we will organize. I think now we are able to do today, and in fact it is a very happy occasion to be part of this. And the systems engineering particularly is one of the multidisciplinary field, I think, which is very much essential for any product development, either in the field of science and or engineering. That's why the MASIC, the ISSC, the society has been formed with the aim of particularly the advocating the system engineering approach, and in fact it gives the right from the product, it is applicable for various fields, particularly not only the defense space and other scientific fields, but also in the all engineering disciplines and in every parts of life. I think the main, I think because of this, I think we will be able to reduce the lot of development time with proper system engineering approach. I think that's how the theme of this conference has been kept as system approach in self-reliance in advanced technologies. I think this is the theme. I think definitely, I think in this we have invited the papers from all the researchers. I think I will be briefing about these things in due course. When we thought of organizing in Hyderabad, then I think I should thank the Usmania University management and particularly the College of Engineering. They came forward and they agreed to host this event in Usmania University. In fact, we also felt very happy that because one is here the lot of learning is happening, particularly a lot of students. I think they get benefited and all the researchers. I think that's how I think we started as the venue for this as Usman University campus, and today we are here on this inaugural session. We have organized, we are requested for all the papers for various researchers and all those things. I am very happy that this two-day conference we have requested for some eminent talks by eminent speakers, particularly like Professor Raghunaran, Professor B.N. Suresh, and Professor Vidyasagar, and other Dr. A.K. Chakravarti, former Director DRDL, and so on. I think a lot of they readily agreed to give talks on different disciplines, and I think that definitely, I think with this eminent talks, I think all the researchers, the delegates, and also the students will immensely get benefited. And we have received very much response from all the researchers, and more than 57 papers are being presented in this two-day conference, along with 3 parallel sessions in different aspects of this engineering, particularly in the system engineering and the AI, including AI disruptive technologies like AI applications in system engineering, and all the applications in the space, defense, and other scientific fields. I think definitely, I think you'll be able to see the complete two-day schedule. Definitely, I think with this two-day conference, all of the delegates and the faculty and the researchers and the students will definitely get benefited because of the cross-learning and also the interactive deliberations. Definitely, I think this will be a very good beginning. And with respect to Usman University, I think we have a lot of interactions being taken place, particularly with respect to DRDO. I am the net to navigation and the institute in the University Engineering College. We had a lot of active researches happened earlier, and I think that is continuing. And also in other departments of University College of Engineering, we are having a lot of research proposals being taken care, and I think this will continue. I think as both the registrar and engineering professor, the principal engineering college was saying, I think with the DRDO has already established a lot of center of excellences and a lot of academia interaction happening place, and definitely I think we will see a bright interactions with the University of College of Engineering with respect to their the faculty expertise, and we have so many multidisciplinary design problems. I think definitely we will take help of their faculty in solving our problems. And in today's conference, I think we have, after all these talks today, we have evening cultural program with dinner. I think I request all of you to enjoy this after a full day long active technical talks and deliberations. I think that will give a refreshing feel the cultural program. I think I request all of you to attend that. And tomorrow we have multiple parallel sessions at University College of Engineering, and also a panel discussion as part of the concluding session with a valedictory function. And apart from that, we have organized a technical exhibition in the University of College of Engineering, both DRDO and ISRO, and all along with the industry partners. They are exhibiting their products. Definitely, I think all the delegates, and I request students to visit those stalls and I think get the feel of it with respect to the technology development, what type of products are being developed and what type of technologies are being used. And finally, I think I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. G. Satish Reddy, both secretaries, Dr. Sri Somnath and Dr. Kamath, for accepting our invitation to be part of this today's inaugural session and motivating all of us. And similarly, I should thank particularly all the industry partners who sponsored this event. I think there is a display of the industry partners who are sponsored, particularly apart from the DRDO, but we have so many industry partners like the PSUs and all the private industry partners who has supported us in the form of both diamond, gold and silver this silver sponsors, and also the active contribution for all of the magazines and all also. And as part of this ISSC conference, I think there is a tradition to give awards to in the form of lifetime achievement, and also the distinguished fellows and young scientists, engineers and all those things. So the ISSC, the main governing council, I think will be doing that honors. So on behalf of Hyderabad chapter, I would like to congratulate all the these award winners. And finally, I would like to thank all of you for actively participating today. And definitely, I think this two-day conference will bring among a lot of synergy with all the academia, the R&D institutes and the industry partners and the students for active deliberations, and so that the cross-learning will take place, and we will see such type of conferences organized and seminars very frequently, so that this type of active deliberation should take place for the technology development. And finally, I would like my thanks to all of you, and also all the very best for this two-day conference, and thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. Narayanan, Director, LPSC, ISRO, and National President, ISSC, who will present the report on the activities of the Indian Society of Systems for Science and Engineering.
Thank you. Most respected Chief Guest of the function and the Lifetime Achievement Awardee, Dr. G. Satish Reddy, Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mandri. Guest of honor, our respected and beloved Chairman ISRO, Secretary Department of Space, Dr. S. Somnath. Guest of honor, most distinguished and respected Dr. Samir V. Kamath, Chairman DRDO and Secretary Department of Defense R&D. Our special guest of the function and the keynote speaker, a guru in system engineering approach, Dr. B.N. Suresh, former Director VSSC and Chancellor IAST. My close friend and the National Vice President, Dr. BHVS Narayanamurthy, DG, Missile, MSS, DRDO. Dr. Manika Vasagam, one of the dynamic personality of and the local organizing committee president and president of ISSC Hyderabad chapter. Professor Lakshmi Narayana, Registrar, Osmania University. Professor Sriram Venkatesh, Principal, University College of Engineering, Osmania University, and the Secretary of Hyderabad chapter, Satyanarayana, most respected, and the person who made the first launch vehicle of ISRO, the GSLV, first time, the GSLV Mark II vehicle, in the first attempt, a successful launch vehicle. And in the maiden attempt, it was made as a successful mission. And the Lifetime Achievement Awardee, Dr. R.V. Perumal, former Director LPSC, and the former Project Director PSLV, GSLV. And the eminent persons elected as honorary fellows and fellows, my dear young friends who are getting the Young Scientist Awards, ISSC National Council members, vice presidents, and the dynamic secretary, Mr. N. Jain, members of ISSC Hyderabad chapter who are really played a very crucial role in organizing this very mega event, invited guests, my dear students, ISSC members, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you on this August day. I consider it as a great privilege and honor to be the national president of ISSC and part of this mega event what is organized today, the 5th ISSC National Conference INAC 05, hosted by Hyderabad chapter in association with the DRDO, ISRO, and the University College of Engineering, Osmania University, in this wonderful campus. Let me first of all join with all my previous speakers in formally welcoming all of you for this very important function. Dear friends, you all know system engineering is an interdisciplinary field of engineering and management that focuses on how to design and manage complex systems over its life cycle. At its core, system engineering utilizes system thinking principles to organize this body of knowledge. System engineering is employed in complex systems like launch vehicles, spacecrafts, missiles, computer design, robotics, software integration, transportation system, bridge building, R&D activities, atomic energy, everywhere. As a person involved in the space activities, mainly in the space transportation system, in particular, launch vehicle and spacecraft propulsion system development for the last 4 decades, I can tell beyond doubt that if at all we have faced some setbacks during the development or during launches, when you trace back, the reason is attributed to some lack of knowledge in the system engineering. And it is true in all the fields. You take any field, let it be missile technology, let it be atomic energy, nuclear power plant, or operating a power system, constructing a bridge, every field, it is true. This conference, which is going to focus on system approach for self-reliance in advanced technology, will create awareness of the importance of system engineering in the concerned fields. Initially, I thought I will talk something on system engineering, but there are distinguished guests are there. I am going to leave it to them. We will hear from them. Coming to the Indian Society of Systems for Science and Engineering. This was started in the year 2010 at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center with its headquarters at Trivandrum. It is a professional body for interdisciplinary collaboration to promote system engineering approach in science and engineering. It has worked with the objective of bringing together scholars and practitioners from academia, business, R&D organization for promoting the system concept. In the last 13 years, the society has grown into a very strong body. We have 13 chapters all over the country with 6,000 distinguished members. One of the pioneers who played a key role in starting this society is right now with us, none other than the Dr. B.N. Suresh. Let us give a big hand to him. And really, he has lived with system engineering approach. And basically, I want to tell, I have attended lot of reviews in the initial phase. All along, I was thinking he is a man with electronics background. Almost after 6 years only, I understood he is a mechanical engineering background. That is his strength. And all the fields with the system engineering approach, he approached the problem. And this society, today it has reached to this stage here. I have to thank a couple of people. Other than the people who started the society, Dr. Das Gupta, who was the first president, Sri Kunnikrishnan, who was the subsequent president, and the local chapter presidents and the team members who have taken to this stature. Let me salute them for that great job what they have done. ISSC has worked very successful in fully fulfilling its major objectives like promoting study of systems, science and engineering, disseminating knowledge of pertaining to system theory and application, encouraging meritorious work in system domain, reporting results of original research, recognizing individuals who have contributed to the system science and engineering. Till date, the society has conducted 4 national conferences and the last one was in Ahmedabad in the year 2019. After that, you all know we had the COVID problem. Now we have assembled here to do the 5th national conference. The society also honors eminent personalities who have made substantial contribution in the system engineering area. The society has acquired a permanent land and permanent building is constructed. Let me thank Sri Kunnikrishnan, the former president of ISSE, and it was inaugurated by none other than our former chairman, Dr. Sivan, on 20th March 2021. Let us give a big hand to Kunnikrishnan and his team who did this. Last 3 years, the society activities were really not going well because of the COVID, you all know. But the chapters have organized 11 online webinars, and the National Counting Council organized a conference, that too online. The topic was on application of system engineering on state-of-art technologies. And we brought eminent speakers from ISRO, DRDO, BARC. There were 3 important talks. And recently, the Trivandrum chapter also organized the national conference on frontiers of aerospace system and technologies in July 2022 at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. The society proposes to spread its wings by opening new chapters. In fact, another 2 months we are going to start a new chapter in Pune, and there are other locations we have identified. I take this opportunity to thank the Hyderabad chapter executives, especially the dynamic vice president, Dr. Narayana Murthy, and the local organizing committee president, my friend Manika Vasagam, and so many people, some students, Osmania University, VC, and the principal of the engineering college. Let me give a big hand to them for wonderfully organizing this function. Today, dear friends, we are going to present the last 4 years awards. So the award function is going to be half an hour program. We are going to have come back to that program. Let me also compliment and congratulate all the award winners. And the next version of the INAC 06 is planned to be conducted in Kanyakumari chapter. Let me thank Mr. Asif Agiraj, Director IPRC, and my close friend for accepting that offer. And I know by January we are going to organize. Let me thank them for that great gesture. As President of the National Governing Council, once again I welcome each and every one of you for this important 2 days conference. Before I conclude, I wish to thank all the distinguished personalities who are on the dais with us and who are there in the front rows, and all the students who are going to be the future leaders of the country, who are going to see this country as a developed country when we celebrate in another 25 years. You are going to contribute. That's why we wanted the student community here. Let me thank each and every one of you for participating in this important function. I also wish all of you contribute for the growth of the society, and the society should be taken in a different level, contributing for the system approach. Let me wish all of you to have 2 fruitful and happy day here. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, moving on with the program, we would like to mark this auspicious occasion by the release of the souvenir and a quick look at the editorial board. Dr. Manika Vasagam, Dr. Naresh Kumar, Mr. Venkatram Reddy, Mr. Sridhar Babu, Mr. Ashwin Chandar, and Dr. Sivaramakrishna. I request the members of the editorial board to join us on stage, please. I request Dr. Satish Reddy to release the souvenir. This souvenir is a fine compilation of messages from eminent personalities, technical papers, abstracts, advertisements, exhibits, and it has a lot more. Thank you, sir, for doing the honors. Before I invite Dr. Samir Kamath to address the gathering, a brief introduction about Sir. Dr. Samir Kamath has provided leadership and direction to several critical materials programs in DRDO, such as development of high-strength steels for naval ship hulls and high-temperature titanium alloys and nickel-based superalloy-based components for aero engines, development of tungsten heavy alloys for kinetic energy penetrators and fused silica radomes for missile seekers, development of armor solutions for personnel as well as combat vehicles and stealth materials for airborne and naval applications, which are being used in various systems developed by DRDO. He has also spearheaded the development of naval systems such as advanced lightweight torpedo, anti-torpedo, decoy systems, autonomous underwater vehicles, advanced hull-mounted and towed array sonars for ships and fuel cells, air-dependent propulsion systems for submarines. Dr. Kamath is a fellow of prominent institutions and recipient of prestigious and innumerable awards. He is presently the Chairman, DRDO, and Secretary, Department of Defense Research and Development. I now invite Dr. Samir Kamath to address the gathering, please.
Dr. Satish Reddy, Shri Somnath, other dignitaries on the dais, distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, and all the students who are present here. A very good morning to all of you. I'm indeed very happy to be here, and I'm also very happy to see that such a large auditorium is full, which shows the importance of systems engineering. We are already half an hour behind schedule, so I will also use the system engineering approach and keep my speech short. I was very keen to see that the topic of today's conference is to use systems engineering approach or systems approach for self-reliance in advanced technologies. Normally we associate systems engineering when we want to design and develop complex systems. So this is an interesting twist, but I think the technologies that we are dealing with are also becoming increasingly complex. And using the same approach that we use when we design systems can help us in reducing the development time for technologies. As our Prime Minister has set us a clear vision to become self-reliant and a global leader by 2047, that is in this Amrit Kal period, it is going to become increasingly important for us to develop advanced technologies. And not only these technologies have to be cutting edge, we also have to become the first to develop these technologies. I'm sure if we use the systems approach, in the years to come, we will be able to achieve this kind of leadership. So my best wishes to all of you who have gathered here today for very useful deliberations over the next 2 years, next 2 days. And I'm sure at the end of these 2 days, all of you will be enriched by the talks that are going to be presented here, and will continue or increase the usage of the systems approach in whatever you do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your distinguished presence has enlightened each one of us present in the auditorium today. And we are indeed privileged and honored in having your gracious presence. Thank you for making this event a memorable one, sir. Thank you so very much. Now, a brief introduction about Mr. Somnath before his address. Mr. Somnath is an expert in the area of system engineering of launch vehicles. His contributions in PSLV and GSLV Mk3 were prevalent in the overall architecture, propulsion stages, design, structural and structural dynamic designs, separation systems, vehicle integration, and integration procedures development. He has spearheaded many accomplishments like development and qualification of CE20 cryogenic engine and the C25 stage, which has successfully flown in GSLV Mk3 D1 flight, crew escape system demonstration through pad abort test, launch of GSLV Mk3 M1, Chandrayaan-2 PS4 orbital platform experiments, and development of critical systems. He is a member of reputed national and international institutions and has several publications and journals and in conferences. He is presently the chairman, Indian Space Research Organization, and secretary, Department of Space.
Good morning, all of you. Dr. Satish Reddy, Dr. Sami V. Kamath, Dr. B. N. Suresh, Dr. V. Narayanan, Dr. Manika Vasagam, Professor Lakshmi Narayana, Sriram Venkatesh, and all the distinguished invitees, award winners, delegates who are assembled here, my greetings to you on the occasion of this 5th conference of ISSC with a theme of looking at system engineering approach for designing system for Atmanirbharta. I believe it is so. Today we are going to listen to some of the very important talks on the experience of people like Dr. B. N. Suresh and the lessons learned in the system engineering approach. I think it will be inappropriate for me to discuss about the topic or the key theme of this conference. But I believe one of the important element in the deliberation discussion is our ability to understand what exactly is the system approach for engineering complex system. In my understanding, it is simply respect for domains of others. See, all of us go through a certain levels of knowledge gained through our training, our courses that we went through, possibly in engineering and sciences, and we join institutions of various types and get trained and become specialized in one domain. And over the years, we somehow develop an attitude that to look at everything through the eyes of that specialist. But through that process, we slowly miss the big picture. I think it is the whole idea today when you talk about system approach is to bring the big picture in mind in front of you while we design the complex problem systems, and also develop a sort of a respect for the similar expertise and knowledge of others. And also to understand that through that collaborative approach, only that you will be able to understand the interplay between multitude of problems that are encountered in designing a complex system, and then guide the whole team to develop complex system. I think this is the essence of it. In my understanding, could be different, maybe in terms of the classical definitions. I have an experience of working as a project director and also has seen many other project directors like Dr. Sri Perimal sir in action. And many a times I really wondered how people understand complex problems, though their domain of expertise may not be that of what they are discussing many a times. And most of our learning in this process has actually come through watching it really, not rather getting trained in that domain. I was wondering, just look at one of the simplest of the system that we are seeing is a razor blade, no? One of the biggest boon to men folks, nowadays it is also for women folks, is to have a razor blade that you won't cut you while you are shaving. I was trying to understand the technology associated with such a razor blade. I think, the metallurgy that goes into the martensitic stainless steel that goes to make those blades, multi-level of blades. The process of making such a thin blade and then cutting to the precision and positioning them in that gap between them is so critical for appropriate shaving, the angle, the flexibility, the rubber that is put in front of it, the lubrication that is provided within the elastomer that is bonded to it to produce the required amount of friction so as to keep the hair taut for during the cutting. I think the extent of research that has gone into building a small razor blade itself is so much. I don't know whether it is actually designed in India. I think we don't even have a capability to design a good razor blade system in India itself. So forget about rockets and missiles. So when you talk about complex systems, there are so many elements of technology that actually comes into play. And anybody who is venturing into design a complex system must have an understanding that yes, there are domains which need to be understood, and we need to collect people who will have an overall understanding of the system as a whole to engineer it to perfection. I think this is the message that I would like to tell you. And as a project director, as a mission director of launch vehicles, I have gone through this mill, as already been told Dr. Suresh, and as an example of this, who trained us in looking at things in that manner, not to be limited by the engineering course or the coursework that we have gone through, but to seek complex problems in its totality and seek help from experts who are there enough all around us. So this is as a forum where you will be finding people from various domains and trying to understand what others are doing and where the help is possible for your better design of the system. I think this is the essential message that will come out of this conference, I believe. And as already been told, the competency that needed in India today to develop products of this nature, even for those razor blades, I think we are still lacking in a great manner. We are still good at doing things like the rockets and missiles, but when you talk about various complex devices and instruments, equipments, machinery, tools, if you look at, we are still lagging behind in various means. I was other day looking at manufacturing capability in India, the machine tools that are required to be built in India. Even look at the equipments and machinery that you are importing for precision activities, measurements, metrology, etc. Still quite a bit is being done from outside. And we need to develop this competency internally. Unless we create that pool of people who will understand the multitude of engineering challenges to build complex systems, we will never be able to do that. But the good news is that things are happening now. Slowly we are able to reach to a level. I think this is the time that we need to assemble people of various skills and technologies to build systems by understanding the interplay between all of them, and also to develop the most important respect for each other. Thank you so much. All the very best for the conference.
Thank you, sir. Your esteemed presence has indeed inspired and motivated all of us. And we are indeed privileged in having you with us today. And thank you for making this event a very special one. Thank you so very much. Moving on with the release of conference proceedings, I wish to introduce the editorial board. Dr. Manika Vasagam, yet again, Professor Sriram Venkatesh, Dr. J.V. Satyanarayana, Professor Sivaramakrishna, Dr. Naresh Kumar, Professor P. Prem Kiran, and Dr. Ashwin Chanda. May I have the editorial board on stage, please? I now request Chairman ISRO, Mr. Somnath, and Chairman DRDO, Dr. Samir Kamat, to collectively release the conference proceedings, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you for doing the honors. Now it is the much awaited address by our chief guest. And before I invite Dr. Satish Reddy, a brief introduction about sir. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Satish Reddy needs no introduction. He is so very inspirational and he's got that aura. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Namaskar. A very good morning to everyone present here. Dr. Somnath, Dr. Samit Kamat, Sri B.N. Suresh, Sri Narayanan, the President of the Society, Dr. B.H.S. Narayanamurthy, Professor Lakshmi Narayana, Professor Sri Ram Venkatesh, Principal of the College of Engineering, Usmania University, Sri Manikya Vasagam, the President of the Hyderabad chapter, and Mr. J.V. Satyanarayana, and all the eminent people, elders, seniors, respected professors and scientists, and friends from the organizations, scientists from DRDO, ISRO, and other organizations, and all others who are present from the academic institutes and everyone. Once again, very good morning to all of you. I think this is one of the recent times after COVID, one of the major conferences what we are having as on a technical subject. Even though conferences have started little in the recent times, but I think this is one of the conferences which is being done in a major way, where many organizations have joined together and working on this type of a conference where with a theme of system engineering approach for Atmanirbharata. Particularly when you talk about ISSC, talking about the systems, at a juncture where nation is talking about Atmanirbharata very strongly and also making the systems which are very advanced. This is the aspiration of the nation and the direction given by the leadership. So when we say particularly the systems, there are lots of systems which actually complex systems which the country needs to develop, or the systems what we have developed to make them advanced, and new systems which we are developing should be definitely advanced. When I say the system still what we need to develop, there are a couple of systems which we need to really focus on. Let's say the marine engineering related, the propulsion systems is one of the important things what the country need to develop as a big important system in the country. And similarly, when you look at it, the various kind engines and transmission systems which are required for multiple vehicles is again a system what we need to develop, and of course naturally the system around it. Similarly, the aero engines is one of the important things what the country has to develop. And from there when we say then the aircrafts which we need to develop, I'm not talking about the fighter aircrafts, which definitely the LC has come through and then we are able to produce. But when we talk about it today, talk about the civil aviation, passenger and transport aircraft in the country, which actually we all also become part of it as an engineering aspect which we need to develop. These are some of the systems which we actually need to develop, to fill in the gaps which we are trying to get from outside is something. So this is one thing. Second, when we talk about the systems development, today in the current scenario, the way the world is growing today, the way the innovations are coming today, day by day, when we are trying to develop, the system should be definitely an advanced system. Second, and the pace at which the development is going on in the world, try to develop the systems quickly and faster. And lastly, when we are trying to develop a system today, we shouldn't be developing a system what actually, where that system which has been developed elsewhere, we should not be trying to develop a system which is equivalent to it. The system should be an advanced, much advanced version of it, because you take certain amount of time to develop this. By that time, the system should not become obsolete, or there is a better version has already come in. So these are some of the important things what we should keep when we are trying to develop. It is very essential, since we started developing anywhere in the world or in this country particularly, probably since 1970s, system engineering approach is one thing which is very essential when you have multidisciplinary components or subsystems and systems which become part of this system or system of systems. System engineering approach, the importance of system engineering approach has been again and again has been given the necessary thrust and importance all through. And there are also many tools which have come into picture, which during the system engineering we all have been using, and again they have been evolving a lot. And today particularly the AI-based tools which have come into picture today are the deep learning, the neural network-based systems, machine learning systems which have come into picture, which needs to be utilized properly the way what needs to be used today in the system engineering approach. It's an essential thing. Unfortunately, here one thing I want to mention, that the indigenous tools majorly are missing in this. This is one more important thing. Most of the tools are from outside, and so the approach of you is well defined, and you follow the same tool, and so your approach is well defined and you follow that approach, or you are constrained by the tool what has come, and so you are constrained by somebody who is deciding, and so you are going through that. So there is an immediate need that we also should get into these fundamentals which are required, the tools development based on our own approach, which may be completely different approach, and incorporating all these modern features, what we are talking about, whether AI or deep learning, neural network based systems and all that, for which when you train the system, the data what is required to train the system to incorporate all these features and come out with the right thing is also an essential thing which needs to be generated and given. So I say the stress is, today when we talk about system engineering, trying to model, trying to simulate, and try to see a multiple approach in this, in various these subsystem technologies and all that in the overall system development approach. This is also one of the contradictions and one of the dilemmas when we have any system. Generally, the system engineering approach, what we have been holding is, there are some technologies or systems or subsystems which are already developed and available, and try to use them and try to develop a system based on these things, a new system what we are developing. Is it that when we are developing a new system, go with existing technologies and based on that you try to develop a system, or no work, when you think about the system itself, you try to work on these technologies also on this, which has got a risk and time penalty also probably. Can we address that and try to be still that we are having lots of advanced technologies incorporated and we are able to develop them quickly using all these tools, and try to make a system which becomes most advanced system is one more aspect probably which we have to debate and see. There are, as I said, there are also issues in this definitely. We should not be landing up only in issues and not able to develop anything. That should not be the case. But then somewhere we have to find a different approach. Yes, we are trying to develop. See, when particularly, one thing is very clear. Today the nation aspires you to develop first of its kind systems, advanced systems. So naturally we have to find a different approach and different path, and when need to develop those systems, and we have to look at it. So these are some of the points what I thought. One is tools, indigenous tools, incorporating all the features of the AI, deep learning and all that. Then the approach towards the system, how do we tackle new technologies which are yet to actually really mature, but then can they be seen that while the system is developed, they are also brought into the picture? And then extensively using these tools and trying to see that our development cycle becomes very fast. And again, keeping in the mind the life cycle, the maintenance, the upgradability, or various other technologies which come into picture, which we can incorporate them into this, is an important thing while we are actually designing any system which needs to be keep in mind. And of course the cost. This I don't have to mention, there are all the features which have been there. So these, I think, we as people who are designing systems, we need to look at trying to fill the existing gaps, and maybe while filling the gaps, try to see that they're advanced, and also look at the systems to develop the advanced technologies, which is the theme of this conference. So I wish the conference a great success. We'll be able to, I'm sure that we'll be able to deliberate on all these aspects or many other aspects which come into picture, come out with very specific suggestions and way forward, which all the people who are involved in the systems design should be able to use it, and also think the mechanism by which these can be communicated to the people who matter in the country, that they are also able to follow this approach, whatever you think. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind, Namaskar.
Thank you so very much, sir. As always, you're a huge source of inspiration to the entire scientific community, to the academic institutions and the industry partners, for all we know is the innovative self that you are. You bring so much of innovation in all these areas. And thank you for having your gracious presence and making this event a very special one. And ladies and gentlemen, look at the dais. Incredible. We've got defense, we've got space, we've got a scientific advisor himself, we've got registrar from the OU. What else could we have asked for more than this to begin this conference? Let's give it up for all the dignitaries on the stage, please. Now, moving on with the presentation of ISSE awards, I request Dr. Jayan to conduct the award ceremony, please.
Thank you. Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen and students, a very warm good morning to all of you. So it's time for the presentation of the ISSE awards after a long gap of 4 years. So first of all, I invite Dr. V. Narayanan, President ISSE, to give a small briefing about the ISSE awards.
Once again, good morning to all. To honor the eminent personalities of this country, ISSE has instituted Lifetime Achievement Award, Honorary Fellowship, Fellow Membership, and Young Scientist Award from the year 2016. Even though the society was started in 2010, this was instituted only from 2016. Due to COVID pandemic, beyond 2018, the awards could not be given away. Today, in this award function, we are presenting the award for the year 2019, 20, 21 and 22, 4 years awards. And coming to the Lifetime Achievement Award, this Lifetime Achievement Award is given once in 2 years to persons of eminence who have made outstanding contributions in the field of system engineering. The awardees are selected by ISSE National Governing Council. The award carries a gold medal, memento and a certificate. Till today, we have given only 2 awards. One was to none other than the launch vehicle great person, the person behind launch vehicle program, Dr. S.C. Gupta, former director ESSC. And second award was given to Dr. B.N. Suresh, who is with us today. And this year, we have selected 2 key persons who have contributed for the great programs of this country for the Lifetime Achievement Award. One is, as I announced already, Dr. Satish Reddy himself. Another one is for Dr. Perumal sir. Coming to honorary fellow membership, each year 2 distinguished persons are selected for the honorary fellowship by the National Governing Council in recognition of their great contribution for the science and engineering field. And we are very particular to select persons from academia, industrial heroes, and R&D organizations. So that is the way we have selected. Earlier, 6 great persons were given this honorary fellowship. Today, 8 more great and distinguished personalities are going to be presented. Coming to the fellow membership, those who are members of ISSE and nominated by the local chapter is based on their meritorious contribution by more than 15 to 20 years of consistent performance, they are elected by an expert committee. And till last year, till today, 15 fellowships are given. Today, we are going to present 11 more fellowships. Coming to the Young Scientist Award, I think they are going to be the real heroes of this country in the future. And the members who are less than 35 years and having outstanding contribution, per year 2 awards we are giving. And till now 5 awards are given Young Scientist Award. Today 8 more Young Scientist Awards are going to be presented. This award carries again a gold medal, a certificate. And with this, I request Member Secretary to further conduct this function. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we will move on to the award function. I request President ISSE and Vice President ISSE to come forward on stage, and other dignitaries are requested to occupy their seats. I also request Mr. Dr. Reggie Joseph, the National Treasurer, to accompany me for reading the citation. So the citations of the award will be read, and I request the respected awardees to come forward to the stage as their names are read in succession. Come to the right side and receive the awards. So we'll start with the Lifetime Achievement Award for the year 2020. I invite Dr. Samir V. Kamath, Chairman DRDO, to present the award. The award is presented to Sri R.V. Perumal. Sri R.V. Perumal is an expert in launch vehicle technology with over 30 years of contributions in the design, development and testing of aerospace, structural and mechanical systems for Indian space program. He was a former project director GSLV and a former director of liquid propulsion systems under ISRO. He has made substantial contributions in the project management, development of materials and fabrication technology. Sri R.V. Perumal has received many coveted awards, including Padma Bhushan Award for Science and Technology 2002 by Government of India. I welcome Perumal sir to collect the award. I request Sri R.V. Perumal to say a few words to this August gathering.
When this award was informed to me, I was wondering, how did I become a system engineer? Right? It's a question of opportunity that was given to me. I was initially working in HIL for 3 years in the testing group. We are 5 engineers involved in testing the aircraft and qualifying it to ground testing. And I had the opportunity to work on the full testing of the HJT-16 aircraft. Though I was a structural engineer, I did the structural tests, the functional tests, and various other tests. So it gave me an exposure to the system of the aircraft at that very instant when I joined my first work. Later I joined the ISRO in 1970. The first thing I was asked to do is I was made the project leader for the ground-based, the launch systems of SLV. I was just wonderstruck, I didn't know what I'm supposed to be doing. It's more like a crane and with a very swirling capability and all. So I learned about things which has to get into that, like ball screws, the slewing ring bearings and things like that. More importantly, I was made the chairman of the failure analysis committee for mechanical and chemical systems of SLV. Now the failure is anywhere, anything it can goes wrong, and then in SLV, it was our first development. We were into developing systems more by feel, rather than very strict engineering and with a lot of experience. So the failures were plenty. And then every time a failure occurs, I need to understand what has gone wrong, where it is. And in that process, I learned a lot of metallurgy, because most of the times it was material failures. So that, and also, of course, I came across a lot of literature like ASM Handbook 10, which talks about a lot of failures. And then I was also made in charge of project leader for environmental test facilities. Like, it included a space simulation chamber, which included cryogenics, high vacuum, and solar simulation. So again, I had to learn every one of those technologies too. So in the whole process, I found that the first 10 years of my ISRO life, I had to learn plenty of things, and most of the time I spent in library trying to understand the topics I have asked to handle, and then how to do it. And then the library was well equipped and it taught me a lot of things. So by the time end of 1970, I was fully equipped and well-rounded systems engineer to handle the next assignment that I took up. That was as a deputy project director for the mechanical and auxiliary systems of launch vehicles. And then by then, I have mastered about NDT, non-destructive technology, and its limits of various things, what is recommended and things like that. And most importantly, I was the first guy in ISRO to learn about fracture mechanics, which came handy in handling maraging steel, for example. So this way, the kind of assignment that has been assigned to me, or in fact, I will say forced on me, is what made me a system engineer. And I thank the System Society for formally recognizing me on this. At this instant, I want to recall one of my senior colleagues who used to tell me, whenever he meets me, buddy, you are a system engineer. And he is none other than Dr. A.V.J. Kalam. Thank you, Dr. Kalam.
Thank you, sir.
Now may I request Sri S. Somnath, Chairman ISRO, Secretary DOS, to present the Lifetime Achievement Award for 2022. Lifetime Achievement Award 2022 goes to Dr. G. Satish Reddy. He is Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri, and he is acclaimed defense scientist of international repute who leads India's indigenous development of defense systems and technologies. He has spearheaded development of advanced
defense systems and technologies through major programs on missiles, fighter aircrafts, unmanned aerial defense system, underwater systems, radar systems, and futuristic technologies. He is a chairman of governing body ADA, former Secretary Department of Defense, and R&D and Defense R&D and chairman DRDO. He received honorary fellowship and silver medal by the Royal Aeronautical Society London, AEA Missile System Award, National Design Award, and Homage Fava Gold Medal.
Now I request all dignitaries to occupy the seats. Now we will move on to the next session of the presentation of the honorary fellowship. So I request our President ISSC and Director Liquid Propulsion Systems under ISRO, Dr. V. Narayanan, to present the honorary fellowships. The honorary fellow for 2019, Sri S. Somnath, who is presently Chairman ISRO, Secretary DOS, and Chairman of Space Commission. He is an expert in the area of system engineering of launch vehicles with more than 38 years of contributions for Indian space program. He has made significant contributions to PSLV development and GSLV Mark III development. And he has also contributed for the overall architecture, propulsion stages design, structural and structural dynamics design of launch vehicles. He was a former director of LPSC and Vikram Sarabhai Space Center of ISRO, and a former vice president of International Astronautical Federation in charge of technical activities. I welcome you, sir.
Honorary Fellow 2019, Dr. Ajit Kumar Mohanty, Director, Baba Atomic Research Center. He is having 40 years of contribution in BARC. He was former Director, Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics, and contributed to several areas of nuclear physics covering collision energy from the subcoulomb barrier to the relativistic regime using pelletron accelerator drift. He was a part of Phoenix CMS experiments at Brookhaven National Laboratory, USA, and CERN, Geneva. He was Scientific Associate in 2002-2004 and in 2002-2011. He served as President of Indian Physics Association. Due to preoccupation, he couldn't attend the function. Congratulations, sir.
Next Honorary Fellow 2020, Sri Arun T. Ramchandani. Sri Arun T. Ramchandani is Executive Vice President and Head of Larsen & Toubro Defense. He has 36 years of contributions in L&T. He has worked extensively on the design and development of critical equipment and new products for a defense and aerospace business segment with specific expertise in systems engineering and multidisciplinary system design and simulation. He is Chairman of the FICCA Defense and Aerospace Committee and member Technology Advisory Group to the Empower Technology Group.
Professor Sunil K. Sarangi is Honorary Fellow 2020. He was former Director NIT Rourkela and Professor of Cryogenic Engineering IIT Kharagpur. He is an expert in cryogenic engineering. He has heavily contributed for cryogenic equipment design and product realization, including practical cryogenic shrink fitting applications for Indian Railways, brazed aluminium plate fin heat exchanger for LCA, matrix heat exchanger and controlled rate freezer. He is the creator of numerous facilities at academic institutions. He received Distinguished Alumnus Award from IIT Kharagpur and Lifetime Achievement Award from Indian Cryogenic Council, and he is a INAC Fellow.
V. Kamath, Chairman DRDO and Secretary of the Department of Defense Research. He has provided leadership to critical materials programs such as development of high-strength steels for naval ship hulls, development of high-temperature titanium alloys, nickel-based superalloy for aero engines. He has spearheaded the development of naval systems such as advanced lightweight torpedo and anti-torpedo decoy systems. He has received Distinguished Alumni Award from IIT Kharagpur, Scientist of the Year Award from DRDO, and Metallurgist of the Year Award from Ministry of Steel.
Professor B.N. Raghunandan, Honorary Fellow 2021. He is former Professor of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He is specialist in the area of aerospace propulsion and combustion. He has served with the Faculty of Department of Aerospace Engineering, IASC, for 38 years. He has more than 250 articles in journals and conferences. He is a visiting scientist in universities like University of Leeds, Imperial College of London, Hoisei University, Tokyo, Japan. He was Indian representative in the International Committee on Air-Breathing Engines. Welcome you, sir.
The Honorary Fellow 2022, Sri Mihir Kanti Misra, CEO HAL Bangalore. He has more than 35 years of contributions in HAL in a wide array of business verticals of engine, aircraft, space systems. He has management responsibility in manufacturing, assembly, engineering, strategy planning, project management, and international marketing. He has successfully led a team for launching and certification of first Indian civil aircraft within a record time. Welcome, sir.
Honorary Fellow 2022, Dr. Jitendra J. Yadav, Director, Aeronautical Development Agency, ADA. He was former Director, CASR, National Aerospace Laboratories, Bengaluru. He steered the revival of SARAS project. He was former Project Director of Light Combat Aircraft, Tejas, and was instrumental in steering its initial operational clearance. He developed mission and display computer, digital weapon management systems, flight dynamic simulator for LCA Tejas. He was instrumental in configuring and conceptualizing LCA Mark 1A and as an advanced jet fighter.
Now, moving on to the next session, the Fellowship Awards. I request Dr. BHVS Narayanamurthy, National Vice President ISSC and Director General DRDO, to present the ISSC Fellowships to the eminent personalities. Fellow 2019, Sri V. Ranganathan, former Deputy Director, Solid Propellant Plant, SDSC, SHAR, ISRO. He has 35 years of contributions in ISRO and was former Project Director, SPAG Project and Group Director, SEND-SG. He is former Program Director of Capacity Building and responsible for production of solid motor segments and establishing of liquid state servicing facilities as Launchpad. He has published several technical papers and is the current President of ISSC Chennai Chapter.
Srimati Sheila DS is Fellow 2020. She is CEO, Test Space Labs, and is responsible for company administration and technical activities. Prior to that, she had 36 years of contribution in ISRO. She was former Group Director of VSSC, responsible for design, simulation, and validation of guidance and control algorithms for launch vehicle. She was also responsible for simulation and mission activities of launch vehicle. She played a key role in the formation of ISSC and was the first National Secretary of ISSC.
Fellow 2020, Dr. M. Manikavasagam, Director SPIC DRDO. He has 31 years of service with vast experience in the management of complex projects. He was Project Director ASL, responsible for system design of Agni, and Group Head responsible for aerodynamic design of Akash missile system. He has several international and national conference publications and has a patent for solid motor, rocket motor grain design. He is currently President of ISSC Hyderabad Chapter.
Fellow 2020, Dr. Ramakrishnan Raman. He is a fellow of Honeywell with 23 years of contribution in the industry, expertise in the system architecture, model-based system engineering, and artificial intelligence. He is Assistant Director in COSE Asia Oceanic Sector. He is IEEE Distinguished Lecturer and received 11 key awards. He had several publications and presentations related to artificial intelligence, machine learning, and system engineering. Currently, he is Vice President of ISSC Bangalore Chapter.
Fellow 2021, Sri P. Kunyikrishnan, former Project Director PSLV, who spearheaded a number of successful PSLV missions, former Director Satish Dhawan Space Center, and former Director UR Rao Satellite Center, and played a key role in realization of advanced satellites. He was a former National President ISSC who led the society in a very effective manner and the key person who brought the society to today's position. But due to some preoccupation, Sri Kunyikrishnan is not able to attend today's function. So congratulations, sir.
Fellow 2021, Dr. R. Umamaheshwaran, Distinguished Scientist and Director of Human Space Flight Center. He has 35 years of contribution in ISRO. He served in many capacities like Project Director of GSLV and led 2 successful GSLV missions. He served as Deputy Director of Avionics NDT VSSC and played a key role in design of launch vehicle advanced avionics systems. He is former Scientific Secretary ISRO, served as co-chair of joint working groups with many international space agencies. Currently, he is a member of Board of Trustees and International Academy of Astronomics. He is the president of ISSC Bangalore chapter. Welcome, sir.
Fellow 2021, Sri J. Asir Pakiraj, currently Director ISRO Propulsion Complex. He has 35 years of contribution in ISRO. He was former Associate Director IPRC and Deputy Director Stages Assembly and Integration Entity of IPRC. He has made significant contributions for assembly and integration of air-storable and cryogenic stages of ISRO launch vehicles. He has also played a key role in establishment of various state-of-art integration facilities at IPRC. He is a founder president of ISSC Kanyakumari chapter. Welcome, sir.
Fellow 2021 is Preeti Yadav. He is R&D Associate Technical Program Manager for Automotive Group at NXC Semiconductors. He worked in Wipro as analog practice head and distinguished member of technical staff. 20 years of contribution in R&D activities related to semiconductors. He is expert in the analog and mixed signal design and verification. He is Associate Editor of IEEE Sensors Alert. Welcome, sir.
Fellow 2022, Sri Nilesh M. Desai, Director Space Application Center. He has 37 years of contribution in ISRO. He is responsible for payload and application in the area of satellite communication, navigation, earth observation and planetary science. Contributor for design and development of digital signal processing systems of spaceborne microwave sensors, SATCOM and SATNAV applications. He has presented about 175 technical papers in international and national conferences. Due to the preoccupation, Sri Nilesh Desai is also not able to attend today's function. Congratulations, sir.
Fellow 2022, Dr. Bijan Bihari Das. He is Research Professor, BIT Mesra, Professor in charge of BIT Space Technology Cell, and Professor in charge of Interdisciplinary Research, and Emeritus Professor at IST Thiruvananthapuram. He was former Deputy Director, VSSC, in Control and Guidance Simulation NDT, and Group Director, Control and Actuation Group. He served as Chief Executive of Dahlia Project for indigenous development of control system actuators for Tejas aircraft. He has received 2 patents. Thank you, sir.
Dr. V. Selladurai, Fellow 2022, Advisor and Professor, Coimbatore Institute of Technology. He has 38 years of teaching, research and administrative experience with 238 publications and also guided 49 PhD research scholars. He was former principal of CIT Coimbatore. He has contributed for 17 sponsored research projects and has administrative advisory experience in 7 organizations. Dr. V. Selladurai. Now we'll move on to the Young Scientist Award. The young achievers of this country in the area of systems engineering. I invite Dr. G. Satish Reddy, Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri, to present the Young Scientist Awards.
Young Scientist 2019, Srimati B. Lebona, working as Scientist Engineer SF at ISRO Propulsion Complex, Mahendragiri. She proposed the scheme, contributed for commissioning high altitude test facility, and conducted vacuum ignition test on cryogenic upper stage engine successfully. She also contributed for commissioning of CE-20 cryo engine hat facility to conduct flight acceptance test. She has designed a system for semi-cryogenic engine vacuum ignition test. She has designed and demonstrated micro thruster for future missions.
Young Scientist 2019, the second award goes to Dr. Karthik M., Assistant Professor, Coimbatore Institute of Technology. He has received 7 patents, including device for emergency saving and alerting, method of synthesizing hybrid metal plastic composite, and 3D printing, and utilization of sensors in concrete to monitor the curing process. He has 17 technical publications and has received several awards, including IEI Young Achiever Award, IEI COVID Barrier Award, and IRDP Young Teacher National Award.
Srimati Reshma Gopal is Young Scientist 2020. She is working as Scientist SE in ASL DRDO. She has contributed for mission design and mission sequencing for medium-range ballistic missile with a re-entry maneuvering vehicle. She has done trajectory design for various range brackets, including ensuring maneuverability and controllability. Development of re-entry guidance system, mission and trajectory design for Agni for system are her contributions. She has received DRDO Award for Performance Excellence in 2011.
Young Scientist 2020, Dr. Suresh M., Associate Professor, PhD College of Technology, Coimbatore. He has 71 publications, including 38 international journals. He has guided 2 sponsored research projects, automation on paper pouch making machine and toilet cleaning robot. He has also authored 8 books and received several awards, including Outstanding Faculty Award from Sri Krishna Institute, Best Faculty Award from BSG Institute of Advanced Studies.
Sri Aravind R. is Young Scientist 2021. He is working as Scientist Engineer AC in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, ISRO. He has contributed for development of 110 kilowatt linear electromechanical actuator and mirror image sensor for Gaganyaan mission. This is the most powerful EMA in the world to fly. He has designed, development and flights qualification of 18 kilowatt 3 kilowatt EMA for SSLV, which reduce the cost and development time. He has designed, development 11 kVA EMA, which was flown in GSLV Mark III mission. He has 4 publications.
Sri K. Venkatachai is a young scientist for 2021, working as scientist engineer at Satish Dhawan Space Center. He has contributed for the process operations of S200, S139 and PSOM XL segments and augmentation of tilting fixture for S139 and SS1. He has contributed for realization of equipments and fixtures for PSOM XL and also for configuration and realization of systems for SSLV, SS1 segment processing. He has received 2 awards, including ASI Team Achievement Award.
Sri Tarun Jaiswal is awarded Young Scientist 2022. He is working as Scientist Engineer SC in Semiconductor Laboratory, Chandigarh. He is instrumental in rectifying and troubleshooting the voltage ramping issue by optimizing N-well module. Troubleshooting and rectifying to resolve the high defect causing device yield loss at the metal interconnects at CMOS fabrication. This reduced the cost defect count from 380 particles to 20 particles. He proposed chemical cleaning method to recover damaged wafers during CMOS fabrication.
Young Scientist 2022, the second award goes to Sri Amprish Ghadia, a scientist of Space Application Center. He has contributed for the design and development of wideband dielectric resonator-based filters, IF mesh processor, metal spectrum, helical resonators for SATCOM payloads. He has also done indigenization and miniaturization of critical passive integration components and contributed to the development of space-qualified traveling wave 2 amplifier, KUKA band indigenous TWTA. He has 1 Indian patent, 3 international journal papers and 9 conference papers. See, I'm pretty sure. With this, we come to an end of this year award function. Congratulations to all award and fellowship winners, and thank you the dignitaries for presenting the awards. Thank you all.
Congratulations, all the awardees. We wish you many more such awards and distinctions in the years to come. Huge round of applause to all the recipients of the awards. I can see some of the exhibition inauguration organizers here in this hall. I request you to move to the venue for the readiness, please. And it's over to Dr. Suma Bindu to conduct the keynote address.
Namaskar. Now it's time to proceed for the keynote address. Before that, let me introduce our speaker, Dr. B.N. Suresh, who is presently Chancellor, Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, Thiruvananthapuram. He was Director, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Trivandrum for 4.5 years from August 2003. He took over as Founder Director for Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, IIST at Trivandrum in 2007. He was Member Space Commission for 4 years, and he was also Vikram Sarabhai's Distinguished Professor for 5 years at ISRO Headquarters, Bangalore, and former President for Indian National Academy of Engineering, New Delhi. He has contributed significantly for the design and development of Indian launch vehicles and has an experience of 40 years in this area. His areas of specializations are navigation, guidance, control of rockets, actuation systems, simulation, system engineering, and R&D management. He is a fellow of several professional bodies, both in India and abroad, like Indian National Academy of Engineering, Indian National Science Academy, Astronautical Society of India, Systems Society of India, and Aeronautical Society of India. He is an elected member of International Academy of Astronautics, Paris, and recently he was elected as international member of prestigious National Academy of Engineering, the USA. He has made significant contributions in the international arena, like head of Indian delegation for the United Committee for Space at Vienna, Austria during 2004 and 7. He was elected as chairman of the United Nations Scientific and Technical Committee for the year 2006 from the Asia Pacific countries. He has won several awards and honors. Prominent among them are Agni Award from DRDO for achieving the Self-Reliance ASI Award for contribution to space technologies by Astronautical Society of India, Distinguished Alumni Award from IIT Madras, Outstanding Achievement Award by Department of Space, Government of India, Lifetime Contribution Award in Engineering by Indian National Academy of Engineering, INAE, for his significant contributions for space technologies, National Systems Gold Medal from System Society of India, Aryabhatta Award, highest award from the Aeronautical Society, Karnataka State Rajyotsava Award for Science and Technology, the top award from the Government of Karnataka, Sri M. Vishwesvaraya Science Award, and so on. He has also received several international recognitions like the Global Pioneer Award, Washington, D.C., Engineer Science Book Award, IEEE Simon Ramo Award 2020. It's my pleasure to introduce sir. We request your presence for this.
Good morning to all of you. Dr. G. Satish Reddy, Sri S. Somanath, Dr. Samir V. Kamath, Dr. V. Narayanan, Dr. Narayana Murthy, distinguished dignitaries on the dais, invitees, faculty members, students, very good morning to all of you. In fact, you have heard a lot about system engineering by eminent speakers. Earlier, I think we all know that when you work in big systems, it becomes important to practice system engineering. That's how the word system engineering practices have come. In fact, when Dr. Narayanan asked me some time back that why can't you talk about system engineering in launch vehicles, I told him that I would prefer to talk on not following system engineering, what really happens. You know, that's why I have put in bold in blue, this is the topic talked most but acted least. Everyone believes that we need to follow system engineering. System engineering practices are well defined and everyone has to follow. They know how to follow, but then invariably, many places we miss it. What really happens when you miss following system engineering? So it occurred to me that I should sort of share some of the experiences in the launch vehicle where I work. Not only in Indian launch vehicles, I have taken a couple of examples from elsewhere in US and in Europe. Just for the want of time, I have just selected 5 examples and to tell you what really happens if you just don't follow. Now, if I have to really tell you that if you don't follow system engineering, what would happen? I think we also should know what is system engineering. It's being taught traditionally how it is really being defined. You know, one thing is why we have taken launch vehicle is whether it's the aircraft, launch vehicle, I think as Dr. Narayanan said in his speech, there are very many systems where they are multidisciplinary, multidimensional, and multi-agencies. If you really have to make it successful, you must understand the multidisciplinary nature, the interaction, interdependency, so on and so forth. It is very important. And of course, what is important is at the end of the day, you have to ensure the performance, what is expected of that particular system. And you also need to do within the stipulated time, stipulated cost, and particularly when we talk about aerospace systems like we do at ISRO, DRDO or HAL or ADA and many other organizations, you can't afford to have any defect of any kind. It should be zero defect. It's extremely difficult to really make it zero defect. So one thing is, when you have this kind of several subsystems element, how do we really try to understand the interaction, interdependencies of several things? You know, it's a very apt to say that the system engineers, they should become something like a T function. While each one of us has specialized in one particular core area and mastered it, but when you really want to become system engineering as you move along, it is important for you to really take the top T and try to widen your horizon to understand to a larger extent better things about the all allied fields. It becomes very important. And of course, what is important is when you are handling this kind of larger system, there are multiple parameters, varying parameters. How do we really handle such situations? So it is important for us to really understand the entire voluminous data, and also the operating conditions of the environment will be totally different. This is all to tell you that how complex this system will become. Now let us just, for a purpose of particularly students who are here, what really is system engineering? You know, in the traditional way it is well defined. Why I have taken this is, each one of them I would like to take and tell what is that we have missed in each one of them. It is very important actually. See, for example, the concept of operation, this is called CONOPS in system engineering. If you don't understand the concept of operation of a particular system, you will never be able to define it properly and take it forward and come out with a design which is really efficient and elegant. Requirements analysis. It's often told that you have to generate the requirement. I would like to mention and tell you how complicated, how difficult, how we miss various things to do things. Then of course, once these things are done, you go ahead with the design, then you go ahead with the definition, and of course, go ahead with the completely trying to understand the interactions and other things. Then of course, you know, in anything that we do, we are all bounded by the constraint. So you need to understand what are the constraints in each of the system, how do we really analyze. Risk analysis. You know, if you don't take risk in big systems, you will never be able to succeed. So how do we really manage such risk? But at the same time, you are worried about the risk, you will not be able to do anything. So that is something we need to worry about it. Then of course, how do we really evaluate it? Test matrix generation, that becomes important. Then of course, all that what you design, develop, you have to verify and validate. This becomes extremely important and operationalizes. This is what is done, and then you know what is shown here on the right side is the diagram with which it moves. Of course, this is, I think, known to all people. I don't want to dwell on this, just to tell you that it is important to follow certain guidelines, go in a systematic manner, like defining the concept operation, generating the requirement, generating the test cases, then verify that it is coming all right and carry out the verification and validation. If you don't do that, you know, the diagonal, whatever is shown in the below, this is the operation is okay. If it's not satisfying the condition, you get into always to your right and then get into the loop. That's why many of these systems, they are not able to meet the schedule because you haven't done something right. Could be requirement, could be testing, could be evaluation, so on and so forth. Of course, question is, if we do not follow system engineering, we'll go one by one. Concept of operation, if you don't follow what really happens, requirements, design issues, test methodology, validation methods, risk assessment. You know, some of these things I have taken. I would like to just give some examples of how do we proceed. Before we go, there is a cycle that is involved. I think all of you are familiar. But still, what I would like to highlight is, on the left, the slanted ellipse is the one, basically in systems, that is the one what you build. So define what to build. I think we need to exercise maximum time and effort to see that we build systems in terms of requirements, in terms of specifications, in terms of understanding the interactions. Then of course all the constraints for each one of them, you have to catalog and then take it forward. If you don't do, you miss any one constraint, you are in serious trouble actually. So there is a red line, what you see somewhere at the middle of this, and above that red line is the what is called system, and below that is the component, and bottom line is the one where you really build, manufacture, put them together, components, okay? On the right side, what you see, this is a famous V diagram. I think everybody knows who are familiar with system engineering. But then I would like to stress certain points. On the right side, the ellipse which is there slanted to your right is the one what you had defined earlier. You are sort of going to integrate and build the system and ultimately see that whether this system meets the requirement. Now let us go one by one. Now, what if concept of operations are not well addressed? I would like to take our ASLV D2 second mission, because the first one we failed, ASLV D1. When we succeeded in SLV 3, I will come to that. Then we you can see that on the left you see SLV 3, and when we made augmented satellite launch vehicle, what we did was, we thought it's much easier, we need to from 45, 50 kg to 150 kg, let us add the strap-ons. You added the strap-ons. You can see that 2 strap-ons are added. Then of course we went for the bulbous heat shield that was required to accommodate much larger payloads, so we made that. Then of course we also brought the closed loop guidance, brought the onboard computer. Like this couple of advancements we made to learn the logic. But then we were all very happy that we have done SLV successfully and ASLV would go all right. The first one failed, and then we attributed to some kind of ignition sequence which happened in the first stage, did not come. We analyzed, found out and corrected the ignition sequence, went for the second flight. But unfortunately, second flight also failed. That was a disastrous, in fact. In fact, it took 4 more years for us to understand the whole lot of things and try to make it successful, and we succeeded in 1992. This is where we learned the entire gamut of rocket technology, what is called rocketry, we were able to learn. Why it didn't happen? That is the question often asked. So why it didn't happen is, in fact, here only lot of concept operations, understanding of the concept, we didn't apply our mind. Just a few, there are many, in fact, in ASLV where we learned each one of them, but I would like to highlight just a few of them. For example, all solid motors we were using, based on the static test that was done at that time, the definition, I think all of us put together, the best wisdom was available. For some reason, for known, unknown reason, we specified the dispersions on the motor burn time plus 3 seconds minus 1 second. Now it looks really somewhat, we won't appreciate, but then we did not apply our mind and what is 3 sigma, how the dispersions will come, what should happen, this kind of concept understanding was missing. Then of course, while we had a good stability in pitch by introducing the fin, the instability in the airplane was very, very high. And at that time, it would have been possible to introduce the fin, which we did later, but then it didn't occur to us. So why this becomes important, it's again concept of understanding the aerodynamics, the instability, the aerodynamic disturbance, and in terms of having the compensating control moment that you can bring, that concept was not well understood. And similarly, the winds, we never realized the wind, upper stage winds are so very important, up to 15 to 20 kilometers. We didn't characterize, we didn't understand, we didn't look at it. We have used in the analysis, but the concept of utilizing it, understanding it, factoring in our design, and taking care of that, today I think we are well versed. And these are all not available in literature or something like that. This is true for launch vehicle, true for missiles, and everywhere we have to understand very fully. And how do we really characterize it? This is one concept we have to do. Similarly, because being all solid motor, we did not use an identification of when the motor burns. It can be easily identified by putting accelerometer, because your thrust falls, pressure falls. When it happens, by putting an accelerometer, you can see that the acceleration is falling, then from that you can detect. but then we didn't do that. What happens is, depending on where it burns, between the one stage and second stage, so-called the control regime keeps on changing. This concept again we have not understood actually. So one can tell that so many concepts we need to really understand. This is where the concept of operation and CONOF definition has to happen. This applies to every system. One should look at it very carefully and then try to do that. And each one of them, then we address them very carefully. Burn time, we debated and then said you have to make it uniform, plus minus 3 seconds we did. Then of course, in order to overcome the instability, we introduced the fin and then ruggedized it. And because of the high unstableness, we were not able to generate the so-called control movement. We reinforced that. Then of course, the wind characterization we did very well. And also so-called the wind shear, wind gust, we understood. Because we did not really look at the concepts, it was important for us. That's why it took 4 long years for us to understand each one of them and take it forward. And all such concepts, wherever we were lacking, we understood. In fact, I would say that the entire system engineering as launch vehicle community we learned in ASLU. ASLU was the teacher for us to understand the system engineering. Then we realized why it becomes very important for us to proceed. That is what is important actually. Then of course, requirement analysis. This is something again I would like to mention that many times we don't give the proper attention to do how to really carry out. What is important, you see, look at this picture. This is called iceberg principle. What is iceberg principle? What we see above the level of the water is very easy. You can always define the requirement. But unfortunately, the richest requirements are below the surface. You can see the prism there. The important requirement lies down below at greater depth. More and more we probe into the depth, we are able to get the better requirements. So you have to really define your requirements in a very, very difficult manner and go on probing and try to understand more and more hidden it is. If you don't do this requirement analysis and define requirement 1, requirement n plus 1, you will not be able to proceed actually. So it is very, very important for us to completely get the tactic data. I would like to tell you that, you see, in your design cycle, what is important is how do we capture the requirement. If I take a normalized 100% effort in defining a system, it becomes important for us. For example, I have to finish a particular project. Anywhere between 8 to 10 years it takes any major project, from the drawing initial definition till it is operationalized. That is the time it takes. But if you don't follow the system engineering cycle, you may get into problem, you may get into difficulty, and instead of 8 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 12 years, it could be 20 years. And there are projects which have been abandoned also. In fact, you have lost a lot of money, you have lost schedule, the manpower are wasted, and system itself is abandoned. But today, I think there is a very good understanding. Particularly, I would like to stress for the youngsters, please treat system engineering with utmost respect. If you really want to build systems, without system engineering, you will not be able to progress. So what is important is one line I have drawn here, that peak what you see, maximum efforts are needed to finalize the overall requirements of the system. This is where we need to really put a lot of efforts and see your requirements are very well defined. If you don't do that, for lack of understanding one requirement, as you proceed, you will sort of face a problem. There is a transient coming, then the curve will never reach the bottom horizontal line what you want, and that's how the delays happen, cost overruns will come, and things keep on happening. Now this is a very good example in my opinion. This has happened in the European Space Agency, Ariane 501, okay, it failed. Why it failed is the ground navigation that what they had presented and what they had used, they used it in Ariane 4, but then they never really addressed the requirements in terms of when they use in Ariane 5, this is for alignment purposes, and they thought that it is well proven, there is no big difference between 4 and 5, same Ariane, but what they didn't realize was the Ariane 5 has much higher power, higher acceleration. Once you have the higher acceleration with the thrust missile element, whatever is there, horizontal velocity increases. So that they didn't look at it, number one. Number two is, it's almost similar thing what we had in our PSLV also. It failed in the first launch due to overflow of one of the software, similar kind of problem they faced. So in the requirement analysis, why I would like to quote this is, our PSLV D1 failure had happened much earlier. I think the international community should look at what has happened not only in our systems, what has happened elsewhere. If you are able to visualize, I am sure that they would have realized that they had not clamped various parameters in their software to plug it so that you don't get into the overflow. Here what really happened is horizontal velocity increased much beyond what was expected, and they had not put the limits. The overflow happened, with that positive feedback happened, and then system failed. So the moral of the story is that requirement in terms of application, that is, whatever was used was with lower acceleration, whereas it is a higher acceleration because of that horizontal velocity increase, because of that overflow happened, and system failure. It was the very first flight, mind you, costing millions and millions of dollars. Just one such small lapse led into serious failure. This is where one need to have defined. We can give any number of examples based on our experience. For want of time, I would like to restrict one such example of what has happened. Now let us say insufficient test and test matrices definition. This is another requirement that we need to worry about that. If we don't do that, many times we get into problem. In our PSLV D1, I mentioned already that when the second stage faced the disturbance, second stage faced a lot of disturbances, and at the end of third stage, all of a sudden, the vehicle went into speed and third stage ignited, but it didn't work. It took quite some time for us to understand and then to realize what really went wrong. Up to the end of second stage, it was normal, but when the third stage came, it became really positive feedback. What really happened was the disturbances were more, and the limits that were put in the software, that sort of exceeded the value. We had not limited it, so the overflow happened, and once overflow happens, the sign change. With the sign change, it became positive feedback, and then you can see the curve, whatever is there, one shown on the top, that's how the vehicle should have moved, but the one which is actually happened was coming down. That's how the mission failed. What we didn't do was, we had used software in ASLV, but when it became Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, the complexity of the software in terms of navigation, guidance and control increased manifold. While we did very detailed evaluation, we learned all our lessons in hardware, simulation, etc., but on the software, we didn't have the same kind of experience. How to really test it, how to define the test matrix and carry out various the simulation tests and the software tests, we did not understand actually. After this failure only, we realized we need to define the test matrix. Another thing is, in software what happens, you have several inner branches. How do we really use them, test them? All branches are exercised and then make sure that there are no problems. This is where the test methodology becomes very important. And of course, we came with a definition of, even if the mission fails, software should not fail. That is the kind of condition that we put, and then we proceeded. So that's why it becomes very important for us to really generate the test matrix and then test each one of the branches and then simulate it. So can you just move on? Okay. What really happened, I think I already mentioned that there was a saturation, the overflow happened and it became a positive feedback. Then similarly, it had, one more interesting thing is in one of the simulations we had faced the similar failure, which I think I was part of the whole simulation. I was there, and we did not look at the results very carefully actually. Because, we used to use angular motion simulator. I think many of you may know that, to define all three axes, and it had its own instability. We attributed to the instability of the angular motion simulator, and we did not account for that. But later on we found that that was there, but then we missed it. That's why it becomes very important, not only you do the test, but then test results what you get. How do you analyze and look at it? Very clearly you have to do that actually. That's what I mentioned here. Then of course, after that we have come out with a very detailed evaluation method, test methodology, test results analysis. All of them have been brought. Next one please. I think this is not working. Can you go to the next one? Okay. What are the lessons learned in the rigorous test means, it is important for us to really do the severe stress test. This new definition came in terms of as far as the software is concerned. Software should not fail. Mission can fail, but software should not fail. That is the condition that we have put. And also we have to sort of, in the software, ensure that overflow should never happen, because wherever the conditions are crossing, saturation comes, limit it at that point. I think this is another lesson we learned. And all the simulations, whenever you sit down, look at the data very carefully, automate it. Now I think it is much more easier with the kind of artificial intelligence and all coming. We can come out with the solutions, and we can do that. More than anything, it is important to introduce what is called independent third-party verification. In fact, we strengthened after PSLE failure to go for a third-party verification. Third-party in the sense, other than the designers, other than the people, look at that very carefully and then go ahead actually. Next one. Then let me come to the insufficient validation methods. This is a very interesting example I have come across. It's a Hubble telescope. You would have seen that. Next one. You see, it's in my opinion is one of the engineering marvels. And April 1990 costed 1.5 billion US, and something like 120 gigabytes of data per week. This is the kind of thing. What happened is, after they launched and made it operational, suddenly they observed something like a 0.1 hertz oscillation. The telescope which is supposed to look at the universe, try to understand, should be absolutely stable, and they had a very, very strict specification. It should be well within that. It didn't happen. Because of that, and this happened because after that they did great deal of analysis, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months they did. They understood actually the solar array which was there, it used to enter from the light to the shade whenever eclipse and others are coming. Because of that change in temperature, it used to cause some kind of deflection, and that used to cause the triggering. And similarly the mechanism whatever is there, it had its own friction. So this kind of change in the temperature coupled with the friction, it started the oscillation. Now the question is how to set it right. Of course they did lot of simulation, then they thought it can be sort of modified by introducing compensation in the control. They introduced the control compensation and they made it all right. But what is important here is, the validation methodology that is used, they should have visualized. Again, this is the requirement in terms of it enters from the light to the shadow, shadow to light. When that happens, what is its effect and what is its implication? If they had visualized and seen, then possibly they had addressed this right in the beginning. I'll come to that. So that's why it becomes very important for us to draw the matrix and then do it. The point is, what is given in the below green, you can see that if they had done it earlier, it wouldn't have costed anything during the design phase. But possibly if you are able to do it somewhere in between, before you launch, maybe it will cost you, but it won't cost as much as it has costed. In service, in order to repair this one small oscillation, what they have seen in Hubble telescope, they have spent 8 billion US. This is the kind of money. Next one, they spent. The point I would like to make is, if you don't follow proper validation methods in your system, you have to draw a chart. If it is in the design, if it is a designer does, it's, let us say, it is a unit of 1, and during the development you are able to realize that's where the reviews happen. We do very detailed review and then we try to find the reason. If you are able to do, we can correct it and then go, the cost will be somewhere 15 to 20 times. But before commissioning, in our thing, supposedly before launch we are able to do, then of course before commissioning we do quality personnel 70 to 100 times it will cost actually. In Hubble's telescope what happened is they found it in service, user agency, more than 1,000 times it costed. So that's why you can see the kind of trouble that you face in system. But if you take in terms of our launch vehicles or missiles and all that, and if you find such failure, it is point of no return, it's total failure. Not even you can correct it. That's why it becomes all the more important for us to really do the validation. And now let us take about risk assessment. I have taken a very simple example to make you understand what is the kind of risk that one needs to take. Next one. See, for example, it is extremely important for us to examine, is the plan fully defined? Is the plan fully realistic? What are the risky areas of the plan that is involved? Because you need to worry about the schedule time, you have the cost resources, technical performances, but they are all surrounded by a central theme, what is called risk. How do we really do that? Next one. The simple example I can give you is that what we have used, our booster motors, whether it's PSLV, GSLV, Mark III and all that. If you take the similar example of, for example, S200, what we are using in the GSLV Mark III is really one of the 3 big solid state motors, and also what we use S125 or S139 solid state motors. If you use similar motors used by the French or the American, in order to say that this motor is qualified, we can launch it, they would have done something like 8 to 10 tests minimum they have done before they could clear it. But what happens is it involves a tremendous amount of cost, tremendous amount of time, and anyway one motor you want to do the static test costs 10 crores in terms of hardware, maybe another 10 crores in terms of testing and all that, propellant, etc., 20 crores. And you can see the kind of time involved, kind of cost involved, and how you are going to do that. In fact, in ISRO we have really addressed this very carefully and then had a very detailed debate and discussions, and then we have defined the testing at a very small scale using the tiny motors, carry out the test, number of them, characterize them, then come out with the prediction, carry out the one test. Look at the prediction and the characterization. If they are really 1:1, that gives us tremendous amount of confidence. If you want to do some small correction, you do one more test. If that also gives, I think based on that, we have taken a calculated risk that yes, we can go ahead. I think this kind of approach we have done in many other areas. This risk analysis is something very important, and we are able to really assess the risk and then proceed. And that's what is shown is the static test rig, whatever is available. I think that way we are able to bring down the cost, bring down the schedule, and also make it successfully. So that's why it becomes important for each one of us. Now, this is the last factor I would like to discuss today is missing factor in design, interaction and review. This is again happened in one of the American vehicles. Very interesting actually, Atlas D launch. So what happened was that in 1958, quite some time back, they were using the Rocketdyne LOX kerosene engine, and what they did was they created a separate turbopump exhaust duct was provided, okay? And what was, it was providing sufficient thrust, I think almost like a big aeroplane, and fuel, it was fuel rich. And when the launch happened, within no time the engine blasted and mission was a total failure. What really happened is when the exhaust was sent through the separate turbo exhaust pump, and also they had the water injection right at the bottom, the fuel rich, it just started flowing back and came and settled in the nozzle. When the ignition came, the entire fuel was stored in the nozzle and then blasted within no time actually. See, this is the factor one should have visualized this would happen and we should take remedial measures. But after the failure, they did analysis, they looked at it, then of course they directed through the thrust frame and then it is flown through the nozzle and of course through the exhaust. But that they should have seen earlier. So this is the penalty one pays if you really don't look at the design. So the design missed out this aspect, number one. Number two is, in all these kinds of aerospace systems, many times people ask, why the review systems? I would like to stress upon youngsters that in all big systems, we should bring people from different disciplines, put them together, spend more and more time. So anytime any simple question asked should be addressed, then you get a solution. It could be very simple question, but then that will make you think, the designers to think and come out with the solution. So then only you will get an elegant, that's why you see in whether it is ISRO or DRDO or LCA program, the number of reviews, number of debate, discussions, not only the concerned scientists and engineers, but also the academicians, industry, all partners, they are brought and debated and discussed. That is where the success of system engineering happens actually. Next one. So, in conclusion, I would like to mention that it is extremely important for us to really follow the system engineering practices. That's why I keep telling this, it's talked most but then acted least. Don't miss out any of the 10 commandments I have written here. It is extremely important to first generate the concept very clearly and sort of bring the definition. Then of course, how the system, another important being how the system is sort of divided into subsystem, components, elements. You should go in that order because starting from the system and each one of them is compatible with the other one. It is extremely important. And I think I already told you that requirements are to be very clearly specified and go deep into that, find out the tactic data into that. Then of course all requirements have to be translated into the clear-cut specification because when you do design, the propulsion people, as long as you give them specification, they will come out with the design, so also with the mechanism, so also with the control people, so on and so forth. And while they debate and discussion, you must give a set of specification for them to get going so that they are independent of others. That is important. And while doing that, you have several subsystems, interface definition, be it mechanical, be it electrical, be it the chemical, whatever. I think all the defining interfaces you have to do and the interdependencies and interactions. Because many times the requirements are conflicting, so you have to balance what is good for structures, what is good for control, what is good for aerodynamics, so on and so forth. You need to do that. Then of course the initial design, if you want to do and carry out the risk analysis, come out that how you are really going to go about so that you minimize the cost as well as ensure the success. And I think already I stressed that test plan is something that you need to give a lot of attention. Not only test plan, test facility also is something important. How you are able to really carry out. Sometimes what we do is for lack of facility, we take shortcuts and then get into serious problems. Mind you that the penalty that you pay for missing any one thing will be enormous. We should never do that. Then of course, as I mentioned that the review is something very, very important in our systems, big systems. You can't escape without going through a rigorous review. And of course, the configuration control, I have not talked much, but I think that's one of the very important elements that we need to do. Next one. So what is important is I would like to conclude that not only talk most, but also enforce system engineering maximally to ensure 100% success in all your big complex mission. So I would like to plead to all people who are involved in big systems, don't take system engineering light. I think that has a tremendous potential for to succeed. That's why the system engineers, they have a very big role to play and if they sort of tell that you do this, give the proper attention and take it forward. And particularly youngsters who are here, I would like to tell you that, each one of you have an ambition to reach top, become leaders. If you really want to become leaders, first you should become good system engineer. Without being good system engineer, you can never become a leader. So with these few words, let me thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that excellent keynote address. We extend our extreme gratitude to all our distinguished guests for being amongst us today despite their very busy schedules. Thank you all, sir, for blessing this conference. And with your blessings, I'm sure this conference is going to be a very big success. Thank you all so very much. As a token of appreciation, the organizers of this conference wish to present mementos to our dignitaries. I request Dr. Samir Kamath to do the honors, please. I request Dr. Samir Kamath to present a memento to Dr. Satish Reddy. And a memento to Dr. B.N. Suresh. Now I request Dr. Satish Reddy to present a memento to Dr. Samir Kamath. And a memento to Dr. Somnath. I now request Dr. Somnath to present a memento to Dr. V. Narayanan. And a memento to Dr. Narayan Murthy. I request Dr. Narayanan to present a memento to Senior Professor Lakshmi Narayana. And a memento to Senior Professor Sriram Venkatesh. I now request Dr. Narayan Murthy to present a memento to Dr. Manika Vasagam. A memento to Dr. Jain. And a memento to Dr. J.V. Satyanarayana. Thank you, sir, for doing the honors. With this, we come to the closure of the inaugural session. I now request Dr. J.V. Satyanarayana to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, one and all. I consider it my privilege to propose the vote of thanks amidst this august gathering of eminent personalities. On behalf of the SASAT organizing committees, I thank the Honorable Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri, Dr. G. Satish Reddy sir, for accepting our invitation to grace the inaugural ceremony as the chief guest. I thank eminent personalities Dr. Samir V. Kamath sir, Chairman DRDO and Secretary DDR&D, and Shri S. Somnath, Chairman ISRO and Secretary Department of Space, for accepting the invitation to be the guests of honor during this inaugural function of SASAT 2023. I thank Professor B.N. Suresh, Chancellor IIST, for accepting the invitation to deliver the keynote address. I thank Senior Professor D. Ravinder, Vice Chancellor, Osmania University, and Senior Professor P. Lakshminarayana, Registrar, Osmania University, for supporting the conference activities all through. I thank Dr. BHVS Narayan Murthy, DGMSS, DRDO, and National Vice President ISSC for the constant motivation given by him at every stage of preparation for the conference. I thank Dr. M. Manikvasagam, President ISSC, Hyderabad Chapter, and Chairman Local Organizing Committee for his guidance and leadership at every stage of preparation for the event. I thank distinguished professors, Professor B. Yagnanarayana and Professor M. Vidyasagar, for accepting the invitation to deliver the plenary talks. I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. V. Narayanan, Director LPSC and National President ISSC, and Dr. N. Jayan, National Secretary ISSC, for being with us throughout the preparations. I thank Sri M.R.M. Babu, Director ASL, Sri U. Raja Babu, Director RCA, Sri G.S. Murthy, Director DRDL, Dr. P.S.R.S. Shastri, Director DSP, and Sri N. Srinivas Rao, Director DLRL, for their invaluable support. ISSC is grateful to DG TM DRDO, DG BrahMos, and ER and IPR for the timely support given to the conference. ISSC also thanks various industries who have come forward to participate in the event and support it. I express my gratitude to all the eminent invited speakers. Dr. Prakash Chauhan, Director NRSC Hyderabad, Dr. A.K. Chakravarti, former Director DRDL, Shri R. Uma Maheshwaran, Director Human Space Flight Center ISRO, Dr. S.E. Talole, R&D Engineers Pune, Professor Sriram Venkatesh, Principal College of Engineering, Osmania University, Dr. J. Yogananda, Fellow, Honeywell Electronic Solutions, and for their invited talks. I also thank all the delegates who have presented papers and registered for the conference. I thank all the senior scientists from DRDO, ISRO, and Osmania University for joining us in the inaugural function. I am thankful to Professor Sriram Venkatesh, Principal College of Engineering, Osmania University, Professor M. Kumar, Dean Faculty of Engineering, Professor Chandrasekhar, Vice Principal College of Engineering, Professor K. Shashikant, Professor K. Saraswatama, Professor G. Narendra, Professor Radhika, and their respective team members, and several other faculty members for giving all the necessary support to organize this conference in the OU campus. I express my gratitude to colleagues outside the Executive Council of ISSC Hyderabad Chapter, namely Shri Ashwin Chandar, for his invaluable contributions to several organizing committees, Dr. Gauss, EMO Kanchanbag, Srimati Anjani Garu, Sri Vamsi Krishna Reddy, Dr. Sridhar Babu, Sri Tulip, Sri Arun Mahodaya, and Sri Balasubramaniam for all their support. Finally, I thank and appreciate the untiring and relentless efforts of all my colleagues from the Executive Council in various organizing committees, namely Professor L. Sivaram Krishna, Osmania University, Dr. G. Naresh Kumar, both of who have been involved in almost all the activities. Then Professor Prem Kiran for the paper review process, Sri R. Venkatram Reddy for facilitating crucial industry participation, Sri Pradeep Kumar for overall finance management, Sri Sriram Sisla, Sri J. Narendran, and Sri G. Ramu for the vital roles played by them. Last but not the least, I thank all the support staff from Osmania University and DRDO who have silently provided logistic support in different forms for this event. All the technical sessions have been meticulously planned by the organizing committee, and I am sure that delegates will benefit a lot from the conference. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Ladies and gentlemen, with this we come to the closure of the inaugural session of this conference. I request all of you to join us for the high tea. which is laid in the grounds to my left. Post-lunch, post-high tea, we have the inauguration of conference exhibition and at Assembly Hall, University College of Engineering, wherein distinguished guests and invitees will be moving ahead for the inauguration. Rest of you all kindly enjoy your high tea and get back to the auditorium, and we'll assemble back in an hour's time, and we shall be having the business talks then. Thank you so very much. Thank you all for being wonderful audience as always.
కొంచెం వెనక్కి అటు లైవ్ సార్ సార్
Yeah.